Kindly let us believe and pray. Father, in the mighty name of Jesus, we come before your presence this morning. Thank you for hearts are full of gratitude, Lord. We thank you for the gift of life. We thank you, Lord, even for the gift of good health. Lord, as we are gathered here, as we attend this 13th annual Biosafety Conference, we pray that your presence may be with us. May you fill us with your wisdom. May you fill us with your knowledge. May you fill us with your understanding, Lord. May you open our hearts. May you open our minds for new insight for the better glory of this country of Kenya and even for the better glory of your name, Lord. You're the Alpha, you're the Omega. As we start this conference, may you be with us from the first day, even be the middle, and even at the last day, if we finish successfully, Lord, we shall thank you and we shall glorify your name. In Jesus' mighty name we pray and give thanks. Amen.
Thank you very much. I think get seated now. Thank you very much. Maybe I want to introduce myself. I'm Josephat Moshiri. I'm the Acting Director, Biosafety Research and Compliance at the National Biosafety Authority. I'm also the Chairman of the Conference Planning Committee. We have planned this conference for the last 6 months or so, and it is good that the actual day has finally arrived. This is the 13th conference. Our first conference was held in 2012. The NB was established in 2010, and after that, the NBA board made a decision that every year there will be a session where NBA board and management engages our stakeholders as a way of also promoting biosafety awareness and education. Now, it has been 13 years since we started this annual event. Last year, we were also in this venue. Most of the conferences have been held in a lobby. Next year, I think, or the year after, we want to devolve this event to other counties so that this information about GMOs, about biosafety is also felt at the grassroots level. Now, as I said, this is our 13th year. If you look at our theme, basically, we want to evaluate what has been our achievement for the last 13 years. We also want to start building trust because for a number of years, the technology of GMOs has been largely at the research and the field facilities. Now we are at the stage where these products are now moving from research facilities to commercial space. So it is very critical that as an authority we are able to start building trust among the Kenyan public, so that by the time these technologies are deployed to the market, there's that trust that there's a system that assures the safety of GMOs. So this, I know we have different categories. We are all from various parts of the country. I was saying before the chief guest arrived, we have people from Turkana, all the way from Turkana. We have people all the way from Mombasa, Adelamu, and other counties. We have different. We have representation from all over the country. But more importantly, we have farmers. We deliberately decided to bring and sponsor farmers to come to this conference so that we can start this dialogue. As we evaluate our journey for the last 13 years, we can start dialogue with the farmers who are the supposed recipient of these technologies. We also have students from various colleges, universities in the Middle we have government officials, in national government, and also at the county level. We have policymakers. We have members of the fourth estate, the media team. As you know, you can have very good technologies, but until that technology is unpacked, that technology will still remain in the shelves of our labs. So we have brought in the media team basically to start simplifying this information. They will be with us throughout the whole session so that they are also able to be part of this journey as we start engaging the public. For the next 3 days, this is our first day. We'll be here tomorrow and on Thursday. That is the time we are going to close the session. At this juncture, before I invite the CEO to take us the next round of the opening session, I would request the Safari voices. Maybe you can give us 2 songs so that we are able to entertain the chief guests who just arrived. I know for us we have been entertained since morning, but we can take 2 songs before I invite the CEO to formally invite the delegation. Thank you very much. Question, yeah? We are always want to get entertained. Away from the science, this GMO technology. It also requires light, light entertainment so that we don't bombard people with the science. The chief guest, once again, the chairman of the board, the CEO, karibuni sana. Our keynote speaker, Professor Miano, is also with us. Before I invite the CEO, I want to ask those at the back. I think you can. There are some seats that are not occupied in the front seats. I request that you are able to move in the front, so that those who come late are able to occupy those seats. So those from the last 5 rows, those from the last 5 rows, please come to the front seats. As I said earlier, this conference, we are focusing on a number of areas. First of all, we want to build trust. I'm waiting for you to come. I'm waiting for you to move in front before the seats. We want to start building trust, and basically to assure the public that this technology that NBA is regulating is a technology that is properly regulated. Any product that will come out from this process, we are assuring the public it is a safe technology, and it can be utilized by members of the public on choice basis. We are also going to look at the policy and the legal structures that the government has put in place, including the administrative institutions that the government has established to regulate technologies. We are also going to get the kind of technologies that our scientists are working on in our laboratories, in our universities. They'll be able to unpack those technologies to us, and more importantly, to the farmers. We have in the midst of us the county government. As you know, Kenya has a devolved structure of government. We have the national government and the county government. We have already started structured an engagement with the counties so that this biosafety awareness is not restricted to NBA. We have come up with a program to train county officials so that this biosafety information can be decentralized. Later in the program, you will start seeing the use of AI, what we call the artificial intelligence in biosafety management. It's a new area. It is the first time that we are having this interaction, the use of AI in the risk assessment and the biosafety management. It will be interesting to know what is happening in that space. I think we are now settled. I want to take this opportunity to invite the acting CEO of the National Biosafety, Mr. Nehemiah Getish, to make his opening remarks and invite the chairman of the board. Thank you very much.
We can appreciate Mr. Mushiri, who is the Director of Biosafety Research and Compliance at National Biosafety Authority. Let me start by introducing the Board of Directors of National Biosafety Authority. I'll request members for the purposes of the Kenyans to know you, please come in front. Board members of National Biosafety Authority, please kindly come in front so that I introduce you. Thank you very much, Mr. Mushiri, for taking us through that program. We can just line here. Yeah. So, Chief Guest, allow me to introduce the board of directors. Starting from far end, we have Dr. Ayaga, who is representing the Ministry of Health. Then followed by, just put up your hands so that the team knows. Then we have Honorable Asteri Angolo, who is the independent board member. Then we have Anne Mureithi, who is representing Treasury. Then we have Elizabeth Wamai, representing State Corporations. And then we have Douglas Mutemi, representing the PS Agriculture. Then we have Kuti Salim, representing Education, Science and Technology. Then we have Dr. Njoroge, Daniel Njoroge, independent board member. And we have Hussein Mohamed, who is independent board member. Then we have Professor Genesio Kinyamario, who is not with us today, is unwell, is the chair of the board. Please, you can have a seat. Thank you. So allow me to make this a speech, starting with the representative of Cabinet Secretary, Director.
Recording in progress.
Rashid Kato, who is our chief guest today, the Agriculture Board of Directors, chairpersons. That is Professor Genesio Kinamario, today represented by Dr. Hussein Mohamed, the government officials, development partners, invited guests, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I think it's an afternoon, eh? It is my pleasure to welcome you all to this 13th annual Biosafety Conference. It's our tradition to have it every year. And first and foremost, allow me to appreciate the Cabinet Secretary's office, represented by Rashid, for all our stakeholders having taken your time to join us in this very important forum. As you are aware, the theme of this year conference is 13 years. 13 years of building trust, ensuring safety of genetically modified organisms. Globally, the biotechnology continues to make huge strides, and our country has not been left behind. We want to create a biosafe nation built on trust, safety and public awareness while promoting food safety in the country. We gather here to reflect on the 13 years of biosafety regulations, but also to brainstorm on our modern biotechnology that can serve our nation better and also to secure the future of the nation. Ladies and gentlemen, the National Biosafety Authority was established by Biosafety Act, CAP 320, to exercise general supervision, control and transfer and handling of genetically modified organisms. The authority is guided by 4 regulations that are already published. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to report that we have made several milestones over the 13 years that we have been in establishment. One of them is having a GMO testing lab that was opened in 2022 at our headquarters in Nakosti building in Nairobi. Also, we have been allocated land of approximately 5 acres at the lab for construction of headquarters, which also hosts the state-of-the-art molecular lab. Recently, we've launched our strategic plan 2023-2027, which has 8 key research areas to help in achieving the mandate of NBA. The authority continues to sustain its quality management system and is certified by ISO 9001-2015 standard. The authority has automated all our services in the e-citizen and all our GMO applications and related services on the e-citizen and the Kentrade platform. We have also decentralized its services to key points of entry such as Mombasa, Busia, Namanga, Malaba, Lunga, and Taita Taveta. And we plan also there are plans also underway to open other points of entry, including Moyale, Isibania, among other entry points, to strengthen our regulatory oversight. Ladies and gentlemen, the public continues to be very skeptical about GMO due to widespread misinformation and fear. To address these challenges, we have embarked on a serious public awareness campaign across the country in various counties to sensitize Kenyans on our role as a regulator of GMO. As our country continues to make strides in biotechnology, the authority is here to ensure that the fast tracking and adoption of all biotechnology advances. I encourage all of us to engage in the dialogue, participate and share ideas so that we can move forward together as a nation in adoption of modern biotechnology. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, with these remarks, it is now my pleasure and honor to welcome the chair of the board, who is here represented by Director Hussein Mohamed, to make his remark. Please join me in welcoming Director Hussein Mohamed to make remarks on behalf of the chairman. Please, let's clap for him.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm actually an independent board member. I'm not the chairman. I'm acting on behalf of Professor Jake Mario, who's in this post. I'll be reading the speech on his behalf. The representative of the Ministry of Agriculture, State Department for Agriculture and Livestock, Mr. Harun Rashid, the National Biosafety Authority Acting Chief Executive, the government officers present, development partners, invited guests, invited speakers, distinguished guests, and ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to this 13th Annual Biosafety Conference, whose theme is 13 years later, building trust and ensuring safety of genetically modified organisms. First of all, I would like to appreciate the presence of and the representative of the Ministry of Agriculture, Mr. Harun Rashid, for having taken time out of a busy schedule to attend this conference. Your presence here is a clear testimony that the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development and the government in general appreciates and values what we are doing as an authority. Allow me also to recognize the board of directors, management staff of the authority, as well as our development partners for having worked tirelessly to make this day a success. Ladies and gentlemen, the National Biosafety Authority is a state agency under the Biosafety Act of 2009 to exercise general supervision and control over the transfer, handling, and use of GMOs. This is done with a view to ensuring the safety of human and animal health and the provision of an adequate level of protection of the environment. This conference theme aligns well with our mandate, which is building trust and ensuring safety of GMOs. It's important to note that the authority is Kenya's national focal point for the Cartagena Protocol on Biosafety, Global Biosafety Regulatory Framework under the Convention on Biological Diversity. The authority now falls under the purview of the Ministry of Agriculture, Livestock Development after it was transferred from the Ministry of Education through the Executive Order number 1 of 2023. We have already initiated the process to review the Act so as to align it with government policy and constitution. The Biosafety Act was enacted in 2009 in 2010. Therefore, amendments are necessary to ensure consistency. The review of this Act is also to bring on board new and emerging biotechnologies which were not envisioned by the existing laws. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish to report that the authority has made several strides in realizing its mandate, among them the development of 2023-2027 strategic plan that was launched on 5th May 2025 in Nairobi. The review strategic plan was done in accordance with the current government development agenda, bottom-up economic transformation. The authority has also approved several policies and manuals, among them labeling of GMOs, inspectors, assessment management, risk management, data protection, ICT policy to fulfill its mandate as in line with the lifting GMOs ban in the country on resource instruments to enable. It's okay. This one, huh? This one? Okay. In line with the lifting GMOs in the country, the authority reviewed the human resource instruments, increasing the job establishment from 53 to 106 to cope with the increased workload and enhanced surveillance activities. The authority has also automated its service to ensure quick access and enhance service delivery. Ladies and gentlemen, this conference is being hosted against the backdrop of a number of events within the modern biotechnology development and biodiversity regulatory spheres in Kenya. Despite this development, the lifting of the ban has attracted several litigations against the authority, which continue to limit the full implementation of the mandate of the authority as provided for in the Act. Ladies and gentlemen, the authority has so far approved several genetically modified organisms, such as BT cotton, which was commercialized in 2020, BT maize, and virus-resistant cassava, both of which have been approved for environmental release and currently undergoing national performance trials in various parts of the country. Other approved GMO under fields include virus-resistant sweet potato in Kakamega, biofortified cassava at Alupe in Busia County, the lead blight-resistant Irish potato at Molo in Nakuru County, Guga, Kiambu County, and Jambini. Nyandarua County, drought-tolerant maize, and the African biofortified sorghum in Kiboko, Makueni County. In terms of animal research, the authority has approved field trials for testing GMO vaccines for the control of Rift Valley fever disease in cattle, sheep, cattle, and camel. Therefore, for the next 3 days, You will have time to look at various sub-themes, among them regulatory frameworks for GMO safety assessment and product labeling, collaborative approaches to GMO research and development, and will help demystify public perception about GMOs. This conference, therefore, presents the perfect platform and opportunity to explore the potential for the application of agricultural biotechnology as a tool for socio-economic transformation. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, with these remarks, it's now my pleasure to invite the Director of State Department for Agriculture, Mr. Harun Rashid, to come and make his remarks.
Thank you, Director Hussein. And in the program, please, Chief Guest, allow me we go to the keynote address just before you make your remark, because your remarks will be now opening the conference. So to give us a keynote address on trust in biotechnology and biosafety, bridging science, policy, and public perceptions is none other than Professor Douglas Miano, who is at the Department of Plant Health and Crop Protection, University of Nairobi. Allow me to give you, to read his biography in summary, because it is, the technical team, please fix the mic. There is a lot of echo. There is a lot of, it's not clear. And we are going to the keynote address. And also our chief guest will be coming in after that. Please, Erica, make sure it's working. So allow me to read through a biography of Professor Douglas Miano. His biography is several pages, but I'll give one paragraph. Professor Miano is a professor of plant pathology and health of crop protection section at the Department of Plant Science and Crop Protection, Faculty of Agriculture, University of Nairobi. Professor Miano is an accomplished leader, researcher, scholar, and trainer. He is a Kenyan principal investigator and a lead scientist in development of transgenic cassava, GMO cassava, the one that we have just approved. It's almost going to the farmers in Kenya. He is the principal investigator. And professor he has ably led a team of Kenyan scientists in collaboration with regional and international scientists to successfully develop a transgenic cassava with high level of resistance to cassava brown streak disease, major threats to cassava production in the region. He has trained widely in science communication, biosafety, and regulatory issues in management of genetically modified organisms and crops and other modern agricultural technologies. Is a biosafety expert for Kenya under the Convention on Biological Diversity, CBD, and a negotiator for Kenya and member of Africa Group of Negotiators in the Conference of Parties, serving as parties to both Cartagena Protocol and Nagoya Protocol. So he's a negotiator for this country on that. He has over 25 years experience in training, research, and project management, and is focused on providing strategic leadership and skills in development and responsible by technology in sub-Saharan Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming Professor Douglas Miano to make his opening remarks. Welcome, Prof.
All right, thank you. representative to the Cabinet Secretary, the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development, Director Rashid Kato, the Chair, Board of Management, and the Board of Management members of NBA, and the CEO, Acting CEO, National Biosafety Authority, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I was given the honor to give the keynote address. It's not very common for this to happen, especially in a big conference like this, so I highly, highly appreciate it, and thank you so much. As you've heard, my name is Douglas Miano. I come from the University of Nairobi, and I've been in this space of biosafety and biotechnology in the country for as long as NBA has existed. I've actually attended all the 13 meetings, conference meetings, physically apart from one during COVID, and I was hoping the CS for agriculture would be here today, because I remember I missed the meeting because we are waiting for him to come to the TV and tell us what to do next. I thought he'd be here today, and I say that I can see him physically. That time, the family members would come and tell me from wherever I am that the minister has come. And I knew that maybe we will be restricted again from even going beyond where we are. But anyway, thank you so much, everyone. I was given to talk about the trust in biotechnology and biosafety, bridging science, policy, and public perceptions. And I think, as I've said, I've been with NBA and interacted with NBA since its inception. I have seen them grow. I've seen them being formed. I've seen them grow. I've seen them reach where they are. At some point, we discuss together what it is that needs to be done, even when they are assessing what we are doing. And it's good to see when you have a child and you are nurturing, even if they are your siblings, and they grow to come and guide you on what you are supposed to do. And that's what NBA has been to us, some of us. So when I was asked to talk about the public, the perception, and about the topic on looking at the trust on biotechnology and biosafety, I thought about the nexus that was already coined to me about the science, policy, and public perceptions. And I was trying to figure out what it is. You can be able to see from the side from there. Yeah, and I was trying to figure out what it is that you're supposed to think about. And I saw this nexus of the three key elements: the science itself, the policy and the regulatory framework, and the public, who are the end users. And therefore, my presentation is going to follow also those three areas. I'll be brief, and because I know of the conference. So when I was thinking about biotechnology, and I knew that the value of a technology is its in use. And therefore, one of the measures of being able to see how valuable it is what it is bringing back to the people. And I went back to try and see the economists, what they have been able to say, what is the value of this biotechnology. And at the moment, the returns that are coming out of the biotechnology, or the market size, is at about $1.75 trillion. That's about 300 trillion Kenya shillings. It's a huge, huge market. The growth is expected at about 12%, and by the year, 10 years from now, we shall be talking about close to 6 trillion US dollars. To me, there must be something that is in this sector. $6 trillion is amount of money that if you could be getting a fair share of that, I'm sure it would be somewhere in development. I looked also at how these returns are distributed all over the world. And what I saw is that, and especially the sectors that are bringing in these resources. And what you appreciate is that where the country, we are still looking at it from the point of agriculture, the big amount of money, the big amount of returns is actually coming out of medicine and pharmacy. close to 50% or above 40% is coming actually from medicine. We do also have other industries which are also capitalizing and using biotechnology, where agriculture comes third. And you also appreciate that a proportion of the returns are also coming from other sectors. And what it means is that as a country, as we focus so much at these nascent stages and looking at biotechnology, especially from the point of agriculture, we need to appreciate that the market is far much wider than just agriculture. And actually, NBA is not supposed necessarily to be focusing only on agriculture, according to my understanding. It's more so of looking at the environmental issues and the safety to the environment from the issues of biotechnology. So I hope in the coming, after the next coming 10 years, we shall share a big percentage of the returns that are coming from other sectors, not only from agriculture. So when you look at the people who are gaining out of biotechnology all over the world, about almost 40% is from the Americans. Americans have taken this business seriously. About 30% is from Europe, about 20% from the Asian Pacific, 10% from Americas, from the Latin America. But when you look at Africa, we are only at 5%. That is Africa and the Middle East. That means we are still lagging behind in a big way in terms of development of biotechnology. And the question that we need to ask ourselves is why? Africa is known to be one of the major diverse continents in terms of biodiversity. And as we shall see that biotechnology is to do with issues of life or biology or biodiversity. Others who may not have as much as we have are the ones who are benefiting out of it. If it is of value, we need to change. What is this thing about biotechnology? According to those who give the definitions, they define biotechnology as a branch of science that develops or creates products by utilizing the biological systems, living creatures or elements out there. So when you are talking about bio, it's about life. And that life in a technological way so that you can be able to gain an advantage of what you have been able to develop. And when you talk about life, we appreciate life in all forms, whether it is the viruses. I'm a plant virologist. I'm a plant protection pathologist and specializing in plant pathology. So when I talk about those microorganisms, that's where I'm most comfortable in. And I deal specifically with plant viruses, and I'll mention that, some of the work that I've been doing on that. So, and starting from the smallest, that is viruses to bacteria, to fungi, to plants, to animals, everything is what we are talking about life. And when you talk about biotechnology, then we are talking about how we can be able to manipulate these living systems so that we can be able to get products out of it. So the use of biotechnology is old. Majority of us hear about biotechnology and we assume that it is a new thing that has come. But biotechnology is as old as civilization. And actually it dates back the moment that man stopped from being a hunter and gatherer and moved to the second level of domestication and trying to take advantage of what is there in the world, biotechnology started. Those days, they would go to the field, and one of the ways, and I mentioned about this, of determining what is easy to be eaten is looking at what the other animals are eating and also deciding that if the other animals are eating, this must be good for me. And slowly they realize that the materials those things that they are gathering, they can have an advantage by bringing them together in an enclosure where they can avoid competition. And avoiding that competition means that they can be able to produce more than what they could be able to gather. Biotechnology started then. And history continues to show how man has been using science to take advantage of whatever is living, up to the point of where they have used the bacteria to produce the wines, to fermentation for where they can be able to make bread, and all this stuff. I'm sure most likely in the evening, quite a number of us me not included, will be going to look for where they can be able to refresh in the evening with a bottle of those things that have been produced using the bacteria. Meaning that in a way, we interact and deal with biotechnology in every step, every sphere of our influence in life, all the way from when man started taking advantage of the living organisms. In essence, what I'm saying is that biotechnology is old, and sometimes we look at it from the point of view and calling it traditional biotechnology, but I know most of our interest now is especially in modern biotechnology. What you appreciate is that in those traditional biotechnology, we are taking advantage of what we can be able to see. And we would look at the organism, or what we call the phenotype in science, what we can be able to see and decide it is good for us, and decide then we can be able to separate those and make them to be aside and take advantage of it. If you think about maize, the issue is how do we make maize to be yield better? If it's about fruits, are we able to make the fruits look better, look bigger, and produce more and all that? Most of that was dependent on what you can be able to see. And as science advanced, and with scientists who have gone before, like Medell and others like the Watson and Crick, they helped us to realize that what we can be able to see is actually coming from some information that is from within the plant. And that helps us to be able to manipulate and all the ways, be able to manipulate the genetic materials from within the plant or from within the cells and produce what you can be able to see. So we are coming from what we call the genetic information to producing what you can be able to see out of the story of life. And out of that, a lot of materials have been made. We've been able to improve our crops. We've been able to produce medicines and other products out of this biotechnology. The modern biotechnology has helped us to learn the story of life. And therefore, as we appreciate about biotechnology being as all-inclusive in terms of living and living organisms, it includes all fields that involve biology. Whether you think about biology, whether you think about engineering, whether you think about microbiology, genetics, and all those things that you think about encompasses what you're calling biotechnology. And the products that come out of it is that we can be able to use it in crops, we can be able to use it in livestock, in vaccines, in diagnostics, and wherever else that you can think that life is existing. The modern technologies is as science is advancing, we are now even able to combine the ICT and the biology. And one of the colleagues, I think Dr. Benson will be talking about the frontiers of sciences, for example, in synthetic biology, where you can be able now to make bacteria to produce what we want, including coffee. You can be able to make bacteria produce coffee, and you don't have to go and compete for that again. We only need a space in the laboratory, and we can be able to be producing our coffee. And these are not stories, because it's already happening. Madagascar is vanillin by producing vanilla. Instead of growing vanilla in the field, you can actually produce vanillin in the laboratory. It's here with us. So, and as we think about it, we should also not, I still insist that we should not be limiting ourselves to only what we can be able to grow in the field. Let's think beyond. So, as I have already said, the advances in science has helped us to run a big deal. We started by looking so that we can make a decision. Now, we are reversing the game. Instead of starting where we could look and see, we can actually start from the other side, lead and know what is coming. And this is especially after we have understood the structure of the basic information for biology. And this is the DNA and what constitutes the DNA, and especially learning about the four letters, that the four alphabets of science, and that constitutes life, and that is what we call the nucleotides. And out of this, we can be able now to understand and see that from the whole organism, we can actually be able to divide it into the organisms, into the cells, into what is within the cell, to the basic information about life and how that life is organized. And this has helped us in terms of being able to modify the organisms to produce what we want. And therefore, we can be able to move the story from the other side. From where we began, we can actually start reading from where we are. And for now, if you give me information and what you call the sequences, and you tell me that you found this somewhere, and you ask what that information is, and I'm sure we are many of us here, we shall tell you about that story from the letters that have been organized in a particular way. And this is helpful to us because now we can be able to appreciate and know that out of these 4 nucleotides, and I'm sure that we shall be discussing about this as we continue, for those who may not be inclined to biology, I know a number of us, we have stopped biology at the earliest level possible, which is okay. We also, some of us also dropped some of the other things early on. So when we go to the other side, sometimes we also have to catch up. So as we talk about biology, these nucleotides, now we understand that the story of life is actually formed using these 4 letters. And the same way we use the 26 alphabets, we can make a story out of these 4 alphabets. And the way they are organized, they can help us to know that that organization produces a particular organism. It could be a plant, it could be a virus, it could be an elephant, it could be whatever it is, but the story is the same, regardless of the organism you are looking at. And so from the 4 letters, they organize themselves into chapters, what we may call the genes. And then from the chapters, there could be volumes and what we may call chromosomes. And then from the volumes, they may continue on and on and on. And we know the order of which all these things are organized. And from the DNA, we can look at the whole process of biology, from where we can read the story, the way we are talking about the chapters, and leading through the whole process, to how the DNA is able to make another copy of DNA, especially when there is need for reproduction, and how it can be able to make to the proteins, and from proteins to the process of where we can be able to see what you can be able to see as the final product. That organization of those 4 letters is extremely important for us as scientists. But the principle here to note is that even when these organisms are organized in such a way, it's very difficult for them to change until there is a way that can be able to manipulate it. And that's why, even when you eat maize, you have never grown leaves which look like maize, because the order is determined. Even when we are eating the cows, the meat from cows, we have never grown horns, because the order cannot just be reorganized just like that. And this is a key principle to us, even when we are talking about biotechnology, that even when we are making maize to be resistant or to be of greater value, that maize, when you look at it and you see it is maize because of that organization, if you eat that maize, it can never change you. So the people who may be talking about the GMOs making us to have different forms and everything else, that's a good lie, and it can only be fly in the eyes of those who do not understand. Because otherwise, if it was easy to change organisms from one level to the other, we could have been having the looking like beans, or looking like cassava, depending on where you come from, but you have never changed despite eating all these things, isn't it? So the principle is that the order of life is organized in a special way, and to change that order is not easy. Otherwise, if it was easy, the world could be a mess. We could be having people having a tail that is looking like for a cow, a horn for another one, but this does not happen. So, but the thing is that even if you change the order, if you change substantially, then that does no longer become the organism in which we are talking about. And this is a principle in science and biotechnology that is very, very crucial for us. And this helps us, especially when you talk about safety. Because when you're talking about the safety, one of the principal ways of being able to assess safety is following about what you know. And I've given an example of a fruit. If you go to a forest, and you see in that forest, there is all manner of nice fruits, and you see fruit trees, and you see all those fruit trees, the fruits are eaten. But there's one plant in the middle somewhere with very nice looking fruits, and there are monkeys and there are birds. The question is, would you go and eat that fruit? The answer is certainly no. If you are thinking, because the birds and the animals, they have realized that eating that tree or that fruit has its own danger. And by looking at it and by looking at the history, you can actually tell what is not worth eating. Majority of us never asked, when you go to wherever people are visit and you find that you are being given food and we don't ask, did you do assessment to confirm whether it is safe or not? As long as the people have been eating, it is a confirmation that it is safe. And the history of safe use started all those days from domestication. And I know that the other speakers will be coming, they'll be talking more about this. And we have better modern ways of confirming that if you're given a fruit now, you can be able to assess and see what it contains, the nutrients that is there and all that. But all this is coming from the principle of starting to know that if this was safe and it has the same characteristics as this one, then it must be safe. If all the components that you are looking at from an organism, from this particular fruit and this particular fruit are all, the thing is that it cannot change. And that's a principle of safety. And because of science and because we are advancing too fast, we needed to have a system of being able to assess about safety. And that's where the scientists started. Actually, the scientists are themselves, they were the ones who decided to come and show that the world, that what we are doing is safe. And all from the history of biosafety up to the point of where we came to have the Cartagena Protocol. I've been in this Cartagena Protocol since discussing and in the negotiations for the last 10 years, and as an expert also at the NBA, as a scientist. So almost all the negotiations, all the decisions that have been made in the last 10 years, I have been involved there indirectly. I'm also a part of the African team that is leading those negotiations. So, and I can say that they are thorough. And this is a part of the international agreements that have been there. And those international agreements, they have guided us in how things should be done. And those are the ones that eventually resulted to the creation of NBA and all these other regulatory processes that we're talking about. And we can say that over the years, for example, since the first crop was, GM crop was produced in 1994, those are over 30 years, many of these products have been made, some in medicine, some in the field, and all the others. And one thing that we can vouch for is that there has not been a case which has been verified to say that this is not safe because it's GMO. The safety may be from other parts of whatever that you may look at it, but there is none that has been said that it is not safe because it is GMO. And we have had all these products, which now tells us after 30 years of, even if it's in agriculture, 30 years of development, we can actually say that we are able to deal with biotechnology in a safe way. That gives us confidence. We are talking about trust. After 30 years of experience, I don't think we have any doubt about the safety. Let's come to Kenya. And I was looking at the history of how we started biotechnology, and I realized actually the first documented case of biotechnology started from the lab in which I work from, the University of Nairobi, Kabete campus. And that's where we started the first tissue culture lab. And that was still looking at the organism from its whole. And in 1991, then the country joined into the program of producing the GMOs, and we started with the GM sweet potatoes. And it was dealing with viruses, which happened to be quite a complex one for the scientists. I don't think at the moment we have any GM sweet potato that is in the market. And but soon after that, we slowly progressed into other areas. And one of the key areas was to have a regulatory and a policy framework. And that's how, from when we signed the Cartagena Protocol, I know Mushiri will be talking about it, in the year 2000, Kenya was the first one. And then slowly we started domesticating those international treaties. In 2006, we developed the National Biotechnology Development Policy. We went, by the year 2009, we had the Biosafety Act, and 2010 NBA was formed, and then the story continues. And when we come now for the last 13 years, we can see that we've been able to come from where we have just developing to where we have products in the market. A huge development in terms of being able to develop our regulatory policy. There are cotton, which is already being commercialized. Maize is almost there. Cassava, which we have been leading as in the scientists and among other crops. So we have made big strides. And the research is still going on. The training is still continuing. We have all the laboratories. We have Carroll Reading. We have Jomo Kenyatta University, other universities also joining in the issue of biotechnology. And we have different, many students who are being trained, but being challenged by most of the challenges we are fighting. For example, the bans that have been coming and all this. They are creating doubt to our students on how far can we go with this technology. So I want to jump to now tell my story in the next few minutes about what I've been doing and my story of how I can be able to look at the perspective, the three triangles, the 3 points of the triangle that I already showed. I've been working with cassava for the last, since 2008 actually, and the aim was to solve one of the problems that has been affecting the cassava in the region, and this is what we call cassava brown stick disease. And what we are doing is to develop cassava that is from what is damaged, what you can see on the extreme right, left, to what we can have been able to develop. And this, we have worked for those years, and it has actually been a successful story, and we are very proud about it. But what I wanted to mention here is that this has been a journey. Since 2008, we have gone through the whole process. And incidentally, the whole process also tells the story of NBA. We started with the trade discovery between 2008 and 2014. That is when NBA was formed. And even when they were forming their structures, I first of all presented this to the regulators. That time it was National Biosafety, no, it was a committee, National Biosafety Committee, before the NBA was formed, so that then they can pick up from the National Biosafety Committee. And we looked at the structures being organized, the IBCs, institutional biosafety committees, to national biosafety committees. So moving all through to the point of where we have the act, we have the regulations, we have the guidelines. Almost all guidelines have in one way or the other participated in their development, up to the point of when you are now saying that you are taking the products to the market. We have been there, and you can tell the shortcomings and the challenges that we have had, but we thank God that we are where we are. We went to, and all these processes involve different institutions. We start from our researchers, from our institutions. We go to National Biosafety Authority. After they see everything that we are doing. They give guidance, and they direct us and tell us when to go and when not to go. We've gone to KEFIS for national performance trials. We've gone to NEMA for the impact assessments, and all these processes, we have a story to tell. And up to the point of where we are saying that we are at a sailing, and we must break this sailing. We've been in this journey for so many years, and just like Moses or the children of Israel were told after being in the wilderness for 40 years, it's time to break camp and advance. We cannot continue being here, otherwise our farmers may not be comfortable with what you are saying. I'm almost done. But in the process of the story, one thing that we've consistently done is to have stakeholder engagement of all levels. I have talked to scientists. I have talked to regulators. I have talked to farmers. I have talked to consumers as the scientists. The regulators have also been with us. They have guided, they have tested their systems, and we can say that it has worked. It has challenges, but where we are, we can say it has really worked. We are not alone in the continent. We are, you can see that the progress we have made from 2011 to 2020, from about having 6 countries which were having a regulatory framework to about 11. Maybe we might be having one or so who have changed from that time when I got the slide from 2020. But the point is that Kenya is not alone in this business. Even when you're talking about 4%, certainly we are going to move from there and gain more from the biotechnology. Back to our nexus. We can appreciate that the scientists, we have confidence in what we are doing. The regulators, they know what they are doing. We have interacted with the regulators all through the process. 10 years down the line, we can actually almost predict what is going to happen in that process. But you're having a challenge with the public perceptions. And this is why we are having all issues, the court cases, the people coming and creating the bans and the moratoriums and all that. And the question is, how do we build this confidence? And for us to break the saying, for us to break the camp and advance, we must get a solution to making sure that our people, the end users, that the scientists are doing whatever they are doing for their good, and the government, we thank God that the government is now with us. More needs to be done, and especially in awareness creation. Delivering opinions is bringing uncertainties, fears, and doubts. We must talk to one another. We must listen to one another. We must be able to talk to understand one another. And in this way, we shall be able to build assurance and confidence. This eventually reduce cost and time, and our farmers will be able to understand. So we have learned a lot that at the end of it all, that the scientists know what they are doing. We have the laboratories, we have the capacities. The regulatory framework is almost in place. We know the value of biotechnology, but the end users needs to hear the story more so that you can accept. With that, thank you.
Thank you, Professor, for that keynote address. And I hope now those who are not scientists, you've known what is GMO. So now in the program, we are going to get our chief guest giving us his official speech on behalf of the CS Honorable Mutai Kagwe. So we have the director, Aaron Rashid Kato. Please join me by upstanding as we welcome our chief guest to give us his opening remark. As we appreciate, let us all be upstanding as he comes. Let's appreciate him, please. Thank you. Welcome, sir. Please be seated. Please be seated. I hope you're all well. Are you happy to be here? When I see your people don't want to speak. I come from a ministry that takes care of matters to do with food. And I believe since you came this morning, you've had something to eat. So let's be happy and have the voice to speak. Are you happy to be here? Thank you very much. Bwana CEO and the representation of the chair, Hussein, and all the participants who are here. I'd like to greet you by saying Assalamu alaikum. God is good all the time. That's the spirit. Almighty God has continued to bless this country by far much. We have so much to talk about, so much to be proud about this country. That's why whenever we start with prayers. When we listen to our national anthem, it's got a prayer in it. We are thankful to the Almighty God for giving us a country as it is. Kenya is all Africa in one. From the seas to the desert, the mountains to the plains, and the rivers, we are truly blessed. It's only us who can make it better. Do you agree with me? Right. My name is Rashid Khator. I'm the Secretary Administration from the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development. I am here today to represent the Cabinet Secretary
Honorable Senator Mutahi Kagwe, the Minister for the Government of Kenya, and also the Principal Secretary, Dr. Kiprono Rono, who are not able to make it today. However, this is a very important conference that brings us here together. We shall strive to make it happen. From the speeches that I've heard, all I want to call upon before I read the speech of the Cabinet Secretary is for us to understand that we are in a world of science and technology. We must move with time. Professor Miano, in fact, brought a whole perception, not perception, but the study of how biotechnology started and how many years. So this is not something new. It is something that has been there. It's only for us to understand, acknowledge, and package it in such a way that those who are still ignorant of the same can understand, so that we all play a role together. So I wish to call upon all partners, all development partners. Let us all work together with the youth and the women and the farmers to ensure that we understand this, that we move together for the betterment of this country, and also to know that we should not be left behind. It is a changing world. I hope we are together on this. Ladies and gentlemen, let us be proud of our country. Let us love our country from what I've just explained earlier on. Let us build our country for the purpose of the generations to come. I wish now to take this opportunity to read the speech of Honorable Senator Mutahi Kagwe, the Minister or Cabinet Secretary, the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development. To the representative of the chairman of the National Biosafety Authority Board of Directors, Mr. Hussein Mohammed, the acting chief executive officer, Mr. Nehemiah Ngetich, our keynote speaker today, I was lucky to see Professor Douglas Miano. Thank you very much for what you've taken us through. Distinguished guests, just as I said, let us be proud of our country. Let us also be proud of our people. Professor has really taken us through. I was trying to get, although there was an echo behind, but I was following up from the screen on the other side. Let us trust our scientists. Let them lead us as we ask them, so that we are all able to understand. Last Friday, we had a public holiday, which most of you really enjoy. I know everybody likes a public holiday. We had the Eid holiday, and I ate a goat. And for the last 3 days, and today I'm here in Naivasha, I'm still a man. I'm not a goat. You heard what the professor said. You heard it, and you can see it. That's the way it's supposed to be. Let us enlighten people so that as we sensitize them, let them get to know what this is all about. Government officers present, development partners. I saw the choir that also entertained us, invited speakers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and our honorable farmers. Are there any farmers here? Please raise your hand. All right. These people want to eat, but they don't want to farm. Because I only saw one hand here. Maybe let me phrase the question again. How many farmers are here? Just raise your hand. Now everybody has his hand up. You know, our current government is really relying on the farmers to make the difference for this country. That is why we have the transformation agenda, what we call better. Once the farmer thrives with more production, value addition across the whole food system, this country will be far away. We will move, no longer talking about countries from the Far East. Other people will be talking about us. Our farmer must thrive to increase production. Money must get to the farmer. That is why this government has taken up so many policies, including the subsidized fertilizer, subsidized seeds, so that we have more, we can empower our farmers. And that is why the prices of food have stabilized. We are now importing less in terms of maize, in terms of sugar. So it's kudos to our farmers and the government as it tries to make this country sovereign in terms of food production. Ladies and gentlemen, again, good afternoon. Today, we gather here for the opening session of the 13th Annual Biosafety Conference, the conference that the National Biosafety Authority has religiously organized for the last 13 years to promote public awareness and education on biosafety matters and discuss new developments in biotechnology and biosafety as mandated by the Cartagena Protocol on Biosafety and the Biosafety Act. This gathering represents a crucial moment for our nation in the region as we work to harness the power of science to secure our food systems, improve agricultural productivity, and protect the environment. First and foremost, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to His Excellency Dr. William Ruto for his unwavering leadership in encouraging innovations in science and supporting farmers in Kenya to adopt new knowledge in order to enhance food production capacities to make Kenya food secure. Furthermore, I appreciate the authority's board of directors and management for organizing this conference, as well as our development partners, guest speakers, farmers, and various participants in the plenary and in the exhibition arena who have joined hands with authority to actualize this conference. Your presence here demonstrates your unwavering commitment to the cause. Distinguished guests, this year's theme, 13 years later, building trust and ensuring safety of genetically modified organisms, resonates well with the government's commitment to facilitate adoption of new technologies and innovations to transform low agricultural productivity in the country. However, these efforts are being derailed by unending litigations that appear to derail. The Constitution of Kenya gives abundant rights to each and every Kenyan across. But let us also use the rights and also balance with the responsibilities as Kenyans. It's your right to take a matter to court, but also look at the big picture so that you do not become a hindrance to the progress and development of this country. It is important to note that the government appreciates the use of modern biotechnology as a powerful tool that can support its agenda of improving productivity across value chains and at the same time building resilience to the effects of climate change. The agriculture sector continues to be integral in achieving Kenya Vision 2030 goals and advancing the government's bottom-up economic transformation agenda, that's the better agenda, plan on food security. And to that note, I wish to assure you that the government will continue to support The authority in its mandate to exercise general supervision and control over the transfer, handling, and the use of genetically modified organisms, as the GMOs, in order to ensure the safety of human and animal health and the provision of an adequate level of protection of the environment. In regard to the ongoing reorganization of the state corporations to improve their efficiency and service delivery to citizens, it's important to note that the National Bio is designated by the government as the national focal point to the Protocol on Biosafety. The Global Biosafety Regulatory Framework under the Convention on Biological Diversity. This is to enable Kenya to be a key participant in the global biotechnology enterprise as envisioned in the National Biotechnology Development Policy of the year 2006. Because of the international obligations and the need to have dedicated agency to assess the safety of GMOs and other emerging biotechnologies, we are having discussions so that the NBA remains a distinct entity due to its unique and specialized mandate. So, Bwana CEO and the chair, when the government is looking at this deeply, yours is to remain committed and ensure you give quality service and regulate well for the safety of the citizens and whoever comes to this country in terms of GMOs. Ladies and gentlemen, biotechnology, and particularly matters on GMO, has been a subject of rigorous debate, and rightly so. In October 2022, the Kenya Cabinet lifted a decade-long ban on the cultivation and importation of GM crops and animal feeds. It is important to note that the decision to lift the ban on GMOs was consistent with the findings of various studies that determined that there are robust policy, legal, regulatory institutional structures in Kenya to ensure responsible and safe applications of modern biotechnologies. This decision aimed to address food security challenges exacerbated by prolonged droughts and to enhance agriculture productivity through biotechnology. Following this decision, a number of litigations have emerged and which appear to derail the adoption of modern technologies by communities who are desirous of new innovations to tackle various production constraints like pests, drought, weeds, and diseases. My ministry will continue to support efforts to strengthen the authority's regulatory capacity on GMOs through budgetary support, the ongoing of the review of the Biosafety Act of 2009 to enable it to tap into the new areas of emerging technologies, which is aligned to the newly launched NBA strategic plan of 2023 to 2027. Ladies and gentlemen, last but not least, I urge you as experts in this area that for this 3-day conference, you come up with practical ways to advance the application of modern biotechnologies for the social and economic development of our nation. I also wish to assure Kenyans that the government has put in place a robust biosafety regulatory and institutional framework through the National Biotechnology Development Policy, the Biosafety Act, and the regulations to ensure safe development, handling, and transfer of genetically modified organisms. Finally, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as we begin the discussions today, I urge all participants to engage openly and constructively. Let us focus not only on what biotechnology can do, but also on how we can use it responsibly, inclusively, and sustainably. I wish you well as you deliberate on this important innovative intervention, and welcome you to work with us to realize the dream of modern agriculture, industrial advancement, universal health in Kenya in the face of population growth, climate change, and shrinking natural resources. With these remarks, it is now my pleasure and honor to declare the 13th Annual Biosafety Conference officially open. Thank you all, and may God bless you and bless this beautiful country called Kenya. Thank you. Thank you, our chief guest, for that opening remarks. We really appreciate, and we really appreciate the commitment of government in supporting the regulations of GMO and also in supporting NBA. So one more thing that is remaining in the program for morning session is to award our chief guest a token from NBA. So the team, please, Mshiri and the team, we need to appreciate for your time. We really appreciate that. And I will be requesting the chairman, representative of the chairman, to give a small token of appreciation to our chief guest. Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay. So this is for the chief guest, chairman. Camera people. Thank you. Thank you. So on behalf of the board of directors, our chief guest, we really appreciate that we have given you that small token as a reminder that you are here, and also for your speech. Yes. It is in line with the government regulations of the tokens. Thank you. So for our keynote speaker, Professor Miano, please come up so that we appreciate you. And I will request Dr. Njoroge, who is the board of directors, to also. In a small way, Professor, we really appreciate you for accepting to be our keynote address person during our 13th annual Biosafety Conference. And there you are, we can appreciate him. Thank you, Professor. So one more last thing is a group photo where I will be requesting once more the board of directors to come up now here so that we take a photo with the professor also. You will join the photo, and we have a group photo. Then Mushiri will be guiding us, because after the group photo, we'll also request our chief guest. There's a tree that we are going to plant. After that, then the rest of us will go for lunch. Then we come for the afternoon session on time. We are right on time. We are right on time. At 2, we'll be beginning our next session. So please, board of directors, come up. We can have it here so that all the board of directors from National Biosafety Authority. Thank you. It will be enough. I will request our chief guest and the board of directors, please. We can move. I will be directed by a communication team. We are going to plant
a tree outside there. Then Mushiri, you can guide the rest of the team on the next program. Please, our chief guest. Yeah, we are allowing the directors. We go this outside. We plant a tree. Thank you. Mushiri, please come.
Thank you very much, our chief guest, Mr. Kato. The team is going to plant some trees just outside here as part of the conservation of biodiversity and our environment. As you hear the part of the speech, one of the mandates of NBA is basically to ensure safety of humans, animals, and the protection of our environment. So as part of that mandate, we'll be planting some trees outside. For the rest of the team, it's almost 1 p.m. We'll break here. We go for lunch. Lunch will be served, will be guided by the team that's outside at the registration desk. We take our lunch. I think you'll pick your meal vouchers there. After that, we'll reassemble here. We are going to have a plenary session that will start exactly at 2 p.m. So that we start the proper or the conference sessions as per the program. So I think we can break here. We pick our meal vouchers at the registration desk. Yes. Okay. So we break. We pick the meal cards at the registration desk. We take our lunch for 1 hour. Then we reassemble again at exactly 2 p.m. to start our afternoon session. Thank you very much.